Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Well, there you go. He was forward.
Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin, Devlin, Lachlan Waugh, another DSPN episode. It's BLT time, not bacon, lettuce, tomato. It's Big League Tuesday. Richie Barnett, former Kiwi captain, Sky Sport analyst, played his professional league in both hemispheres. He kicks it off for us, looking back at the NRL. First round. And then Zane the Warrior Holic, 30 years in the saddle, been a super fan. The Warriors in professional existence for the first time yesterday, 30 years ago against Brisbane at Mount Smart. You remember that. So does he. Could he live without the club? After 30 years, why? When they've never won anything, is he still in love? And Matt Gunn, big-time Doggies fan. They were impressive against St. George. We'll do the tight five as well. And like to remind you that if you like what you're looking at and what you're listening to, then it would really help us a lot if you hit the subscribe button, especially on the DSPN YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. That's a real milestone. If you can help us out, tell a friend, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all of that. If you're listening on the Rover app to the full show that we put out every afternoon, or across Spotify or Google, Apple Play. We also throw a heck of a lot of clips up on social media, and if you like those clips, the full form interviews are available on the DSPN YouTube channel. We start the show the same way every day.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots. Nah.
Why? Because we lost the cricket. I know it's a day or two later, and I should have gotten over it by now, but I haven't. No, it's not nearly as gutting as that 2019 final was, but I'm still a little salty at losing the Champions Trophy final yesterday. Began Sunday night as well, you know, at 10 o'clock and finished in the wee small hours. I get up to do a breakfast radio show, so I was watching the last couple of hours. Sport is the cruelest mistress. Sometimes sport just kicks you right where it hurts the most. Blackcaps fans, I'm sure, ruining another opportunity lost on Sunday night into Monday morning. India could have been beaten in Dubai. They weren't that much better than us, either on the day or during the tournament as a whole. Losing Matt Henry beforehand didn't help. He was absent with a shoulder injury and just such fine form before that injury happened. Mind you, they played the whole event without the world's best bowler, Bumrah, so I suppose that evens it out. But truth is, we simply didn't score enough runs. 251 for 7 was always 25 or 30 short of a winning total. India coasted to that target with more than an over to spare. When we had a chance to do something spectacular, we went back into our shells and we batted conservatively to preserve wickets. Rahul explained all of this yesterday, and you can go back and watch or listen to that interview on the DSPN YouTube channel. Hindsight never lost any game of sport, but looking back days later, it's easy to feel we could have and should have been more aggressive at the back end of our knock. So it's not just disappointing, but deflating as well. Another final where we just couldn't quite close. So much hope, and with hope comes anticipation, and with that comes expectation. They say it's the hope that kills in sport. Hope we win, hope we play well, hope I don't get my hopes up too high, hope I'm not, once again, left bereft. That 2019 one-day final defeat will forever pain us New Zealand cricket fans. That scar never heals, and Sunday was another shot at redemption, maybe a chance to, I don't know, finally close that wound, but it didn't happen again. Rips your undies and cuts your lunch. Sometimes sport is just one big nut punch.
Devlin. The tight five.
5 separate sporting topics, Lachlan. Roughly 90 seconds on each when the bell goes. Reminds us on to the next one. We go. Webby says don't expect any big changes. Warriors team named at 6 o'clock. Dylan Brown signs what's been called the richest NRL contract ever. Speaking of rich contracts, Josh Allen has signed one in the NFL to stay with the Bills from Buffalo through to 2030. Max Verstappen is waving the white flag already, saying that McLaren is going to win the F1 GP in Melbourne, and Champions Trophy. You're as bitter and twisted still as I am all about that. Let's kick it off with the Warriors coach, Andrew Webster. He says, stand by Luke Metcalf, and in actual fact, he's going to stand by that team that failed. And they did fail. Awful performance in Vegas, but the chance to turn it around against Manly on Friday night, a Manly team in form who put 40 on the Cowboys. No great shake or surprise here for me. He was always going to give those guys another chance. He had to. He has to, doesn't he?
Well, he doesn't have to. He's the coach. He can, it's his decision. What he does is the call. But it's very unfair to drop Luke Metcalf or really anyone in that sort of match day 17.
They've got to get a chance at redemption. Come on.
Yeah, but, they don't have much of a chance. That won't last too long.
Well, how many weeks does he give
for
them?
example, Kempy said 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Give
I
the
think
Warriors
so,
6
yeah.
weeks. I think 6 weeks. That's a quarter of your season.
I don't think
That's too long.
I don't think you give the same team 6 weeks, but you give the overall squad 6 weeks. You can't select the same side if they keep losing every week.
You give your spine the makeup of it, and probably your 2 or 3 key forwards, who's in your front row, who your lock is. You'd give them 6 weeks.
And the centres, I reckon you give them as well, that combo. Because you've got to get the combinations right?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, when you look at the Warriors' wings and their centres...
Well, there's injuries, of course.
Sure, but when they're healthy... the Warriors' 2 best centres when they're healthy are Adam Pompey and Rocco Berry, right? If I'm totally missing something, it's probably them.
Well, I'd say so.
They're good players.
But they're not world-class players.
No. I mean, I've always actually quite liked Adam Pompey, but yeah.
And Roger's not going to go back to the centres.
No, because he's not a centre.
Okay.
Chance can play centre.
I
Anyway,
fear
now we're
that, man.
speculating
I fear
about
this man
future.
again, I fear this man
Well,
again.
man, my goodness.
they
Did you
look-
watch them
Yeah,
on
I know
Saturday?
Okay, they look good.
Oh my god.
Make your point.
Like, the score flattered the Cowboys.
All right. That's why it's going to be so impressive when the boy there.
Oh, when they what? Keep going. When they what?
I'm not going to put
when
the
they
I'm not
what?
going to put the mic on. Is Dylan Brown worth, we hear, 13 million Australian dollars, about 15 million New Zealand dollars over 10 years. He's going to leave the Eels, go to the Knights. This has been called the richest contract in NRL history. The Kiwi playmaker. So about 20 months ago, he was in a Sydney court after groping a woman in a nightclub. Now he's signing the richest deal. That's how you turn your life around. Good luck to the man. And, he was very remorseful, of course, after that incident and so forth. And he's just been signed. Look, in purely playing terms, I just don't know whether or not is he that good? I mean, this is an amount of money that you would pay for the best player in the competition. Is he that?
Well, no. Now, the thing about Dylan Brown is he's 24.
Yeah.
He's still quite young.
Yeah, well,
and he's been playing for about 5 or 6 years.
Got longevity there, so that's good.
He has been around for a little while. He's played international footy for the Kiwis. He's a good player, certainly. I think
He's not a great player yet, though, is he?
Well, he's borderline that. Like, he was a key part
That's
of that
encouraging.
Parramatta side for the many years they made the finals and, of course, made the grand final in 2022.
Yep.
He is a good player. He's not 1.3 million a year good. I don't think he's
Well,
that
they see
good.
a lot of potential in him then, and obviously not only that, he's their franchise is what he is. So,
Well, no. It's Kalen Ponga. Kalen Ponga is the franchise.
Kalen Pong is not playing for another 10 years, is he? So this guy's taking over from him.
Well, he's not. No, he's not taking over. No, he's not taking
Eventually.
over. No, they're different players. No, this is Kalen Ponga's team until Kalen Ponga's body falls apart or he decides to jump ship and go.
Has he
probably to
got
the
another
Roosters.
10 years in the NRL?
Well, Kalen Ponga debuted in 16. He joined the Knights in 2018, I want to say it was 17, 18, around there. But Kalen Ponga's got a good, I would say 7, 8, 9 years left. I don't think he's got 4. So anyway, the point is he and Dylan Brown are going to be a good combination for a long time.
Definitely.
Fletcher Sharp's a good-looking young half. He's got a great hairdo as well, similar to mine, which you can't really see today.
Yeah, that helps.
Newcastle actually, to tell you what, they're putting together a nice team. The only issue, like Dylan, like on paper, the roster's good. It's just, do you really want to pay Dylan Brown on average 1.3 million a year for the next 10 years?
Well, they probably can because the salary cap is going to increase over the years,
that's
isn't
another
it?
point. What's the salary cap going to look like in 7 and 8
It's not going to go backwards. It's going to.
No. They always go up.
Yeah.
So how will 1.3, like, because by then a Nathan Cleary type player might be on just over 2 million.
Yeah, so they'll squeeze you.
You never know. So
Max Verstappen says, and I quote, "We can't fight for a win already in Melbourne." And that was on motorsport.com. We can't fight for a win already in Melbourne. McLaren will win the GP.
it's fun. The first
I mean,
part.
if you're Liam Lawson sitting there going, mate, you're the 4-time world champion and you're telling us that we can't win this race, I'd be going, dude, shut up.
No.
Why are you saying
No,
that?
hold up. Do you remember what Novak Djokovic said a couple of years ago about how he and Roger and Rafa were getting older? I think by then maybe Roger had already retired. Rafa was still playing.
Oh, okay.
He made a comment like, these young guys, they should be beating
You
us.
think Max is spinning this?
Yes. Well, why do you
Really?
think about the competitor that he is?
Yeah.
He is a nasty niggler on the track.
Yeah.
Niggler on the track. And he is someone that I doubt would ever concede, I'm not good enough, my team's not good enough.
No, and even if his car's not good enough, I mean, the only reason that I think he's saying this is just to give them some false hope. Or
he's doing it to McLaren. I think he's trying to put a little bit of pressure on them in some sense, because there was obviously a rivalry there last year, right?
Certainly with the Manufacturers' Championship.
Yeah. Well, the drivers as well. He and Lando Norris got the elbows out a couple of times.
And Lando Norris has already spoken this year, saying,
Well, yeah. See, Max, the thing is, as much as he'll probably end up winning another championship or two in his career.
You think so?
He could do the Vettel or not, and win 4 in a row and not win anymore. But Lando Norris is sort of at the early stages of his career. Lando Norris is now edging towards the so-called prime, which, I mean, a lot of it's to do with your car.
So let's read between the lines here.
Well, if I'm McLaren and Lando Norris, I'm all of a sudden going, oh, geez, okay.
We better win the GP.
We'll look
because Max has given it up already.
Yeah, because if Max doesn't win, he's like, well, I knew he wouldn't. And if he does win, he goes, oh, look how good I am.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
If I was Liam Lawson, I'd just be sitting there going,
Well, do you really think Liam Lawson is sitting there? Okay, I don't think Liam Lawson, I think he's as realistic as us when he understands that what his role is with Red Bull and this year, and I don't think he's expecting a huge amount. Obviously, he wants to impress and drive well, but in terms of points and podiums and wins, I think they'll be a little bit scarce compared to what...
I'd love him to get a podium.
Josh
Josh Allen has signed one of the richest deals in NFL history, about $575 million right through to 2030. It's about $60 million US a year, something like that. He is one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, and you've got to rate him alongside. Mahomes is obviously the best.
Underneath Mahomes. Put respect on that man's name. Underneath Mahomes.
Yes. Jalen Hurts, obviously, now with the Super Bowl there. Lamar, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, probably the best quarterbacks as far as the AFC goes. On the other side.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, forgot. But he's been so injured, and he just gets bashed
the last
so
2
much.
years, yeah.
And on the obviously the NFC side, Hurts, you've got Matthew Stafford. JD5 has put in one good year, so I'd like to add him to that. Year. But Josh Allen, look, it's the quarterback is your money man, the quarterback is your franchise, the quarterback is your season in terms of win-losses, and are you going to get to a Super Bowl? He hasn't taken his team there yet. He's got a game away a couple of times. I mean, look, he could have gone anywhere. Every team would have wanted that guy. That's why they're paying him.
Well, the whole he doesn't win or hasn't won yet, but for starters, Buffalo don't win.
No.
Buffalo never win, apart from going to 4 Super Bowls, which they lost in a row, which is incredible.
Yeah, amazing to think about. What a stat.
They were a franchise going nowhere for so long, and then they drafted this guy who many people didn't actually think that much of when he was drafted out of Wyoming. That Josh Allen is turned into one of the most gifted physical quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like the gifts he has to run the ball and throw the ball the army has. He's a brilliant player. You can't ever knock anyone for not winning or not winning enough. One, when they play for the Bills and they've taken them to consistent playoff performances and success. Obviously that's debatable. But also when you've got Patrick Mahomes in your conference and he's the guy that keeps beating you. Well, not him, but his defense keeps beating you.
Yeah.
So, I mean... I don't know, it's like Michael Jordan beating Charles Barkley.
That story in. So as we talk about Dylan Brown, the highest paid player in the NRL with 1.5 a year New Zealand dollars, this guy's 60 million. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Is
that the exchange rate? 1.3 million Australian is 1.5 million New Zealand?
Yeah, so it's something like that.
That's not too bad. I thought our dollar was worse. Sorry.
Take a trip to Oz while you can.
Yeah.
Finally, the Champions Trophy. You're still like I am feeling about this?
I think if I'd stayed up and watched it, yes. I fell asleep, so I didn't.
I gave us such a hell of a chance to win that game, and you can't keep getting to finals and semi-finals and not winning. Ask South Africa and their white ball cricket teams after decades of this. The Blackcaps have got to break through at some stage, and we were playing such great cricket. And talking to Rahul yesterday as well. The reality of it is that this is the shining light, this in the series in India. Other than that, our form has been pretty crap for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder with all of this team and some of its players, how much longer we've got
to be honest, guys. It's a little bit like the Springboks in rugby. They've won 2 World Cups, but in between those World Cups, they haven't been the world beaters that, say, the All Blacks were from 2008, 9 till 2016, 17.
I mean, when you're talking about 25 or 30 runs, that's not much, mate. That's a couple of big overs.
But Rahul made a good point, and it's actually the thing that's plagued us a little bit for a while. And it's a series that everyone, I'm sure, has forgotten, but it was when we played Australia and Cairns, and I think 3 ODIs.
Oh, we got whipped in them all.
But there was one of them, it was the second one, and the final felt similar, but it was the second one where we'd bowled them out for a pretty chaseable total, and then we just stood there,
shat the bed,
defended,
timid as,
defended. We didn't do anything, and Rahul made a good point that we just don't have that killer instinct. But the Blackcaps have never felt like that kind of team.
What, the killer instinct team?
Killer, They just,
we pride ourselves on
aren't.
being nice. We've got to lose a bit of nice and get a bit of nasty going on.
Yeah,
I suppose what he was talking about yesterday was it was just, do you go for the win? It's like in a boxing match, there's 2 rounds to go, or do you actually go and try and knock the guy out? We had a chance to knock them out, and we
because
didn't
if we didn't go for it, what we would have achieved would have fell short of what was seen as a pass score, if you will, right? Go for it.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
But you're the underdogs as well. You've got to go for it.
I suppose it's that, what do? Do you take the 3 points or do you kick for the corner? And the Blues did this against the Brumbies, didn't they? Where they had a chance.
Well, that's different because the Blues were ahead. That was extending the lead and putting scoreboard pressure more so onto the Brumbies.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this is a little bit different.
That's the same, putting scoreboard pressure on.
Yeah, but India hadn't batted yet, so we didn't really know what it was.
Well,
but
they always estimate before they start.
I know,
what
but we knew roughly what we should get to, right? And we didn't get there. We fell short.
Yeah.
Whereas the Blues in that situation were already ahead. The 3 points meant that, well, hold up, they've got to score a try now just to level it.
As opposed to winning a penalty or getting a drop goal, yeah.
So it's sort of different. I get what you mean, but it's a bit different.
Are the Crusaders back?
The Crusaders are the best team in New Zealand right now. I tell you what.
What?
Oh, no, hold on. I forgot about the Chiefs, never mind.
What about the Highlanders?
Yeah, well, actually, no, maybe I didn't know. If I can do my own power rankings for a second here. The Chiefs lost over the weekend. The Highlanders didn't play.
No, the Crusaders
and the Crusaders won.
The only team who won, yeah.
So maybe I'm right. Maybe the Crusaders are the best team in New Zealand again. How long did that downfall last?
Let's wait and see the next couple of weeks, okay? There's a couple of weeks, all right? Because they play the Blues in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, they're winning that.
That is the test for the Blues. The Blues have got the Chiefs and the Blues have got the Crusaders. They lose those two, season gone.
1-5.
This is the DSPN